I listened to the whole message several times because I write out the words, which I send out later to everyone, and there's so much. Each time I listen, there's so much that I glean from it. I love the idea when it says, "Sin lies at the door, but we can rule over it." And how many of us, fall and then we despair because we make mistakes again, we do something wrong. And yet the whole idea is, yes, we're going to do it, but with time, and each time we get a little better, we can learn to control the things that really, the word is, he said, is chata'at. Chata'at is one of the the things that need to be purged from within us. And he talked about how we're not to let our emotions rule over us, and that is such an easy thing to do. The fact that, just thinking about it, that what Cain did was in the moment an impulse, a crime of passion, so to speak. It wasn't out of a premeditation that he was going to kill his brother, but he allowed it to build up in him. So we need to learn how to control these things and how to forgive. This whole idea of forgiveness is so important. I know people who absolutely refuse to forgive others in their family who have hurt them, and that unforgiveness holds them a prisoner of that other person. And we need to learn to let it go, not for them, but really for us. So there's so many notes that I took here. They talked about how much mental illness has to do with our dirty conscience, not dealing with the things from our past, unresolved issues, and again, this unforgiveness. We can become mentally and emotionally ill. So there's more notes that I took, but I want to hear. Yes, Miriam.
Oh, I was going to say, first of all, it was a really good message, and the idea that not forgiving can even make us ill, whatever. Like sometimes we have a mental illness coming from that. I totally can understand that. I think whatever I've been going through and coming out of now, thank God, it really relates a lot to that. But it all, also relates to us not forgiving ourselves. And so I'm just going to take a sip. Also, I love the image of having, going to the land of Nod. I guess it was that east of Eden. I just love that. But I mean, it's true. I had to go to the land of Nod to just learn to forgive myself, to forgive. It's really, really a journey,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there are so many things that I've heard from Rabbi that are very interesting. One of them is, for example, when Cain. Well, the first thing I never realized how many times in this portion calls the word brother.
Right.
And it's something like insisting that he is your brother, take care of him. Okay. And then the question is not about God really knows everything. It's just a call for teshuvah for us. Okay.
Right.
When he says, what are you doing? Where are you? Where is your brother?
Yes.
Those are just to call our attention and to make us think about our actions. Okay.
Right.
So it's so lovely that God gave the opportunity to make teshuvah to Eve, to Adam, to Cain, but they didn't want to take it. Okay. So uh, in obviously God can forgive. There is consequences,
Right.
obviously, um, and also it's very uh, interesting that it says that God put a mark on Cain, right? Um, but when we make mistakes, it's like we are making a mark in our hearts, in our minds, okay? Because yes, God can forgive you, and people can forgive you, people can give you another opportunity, but sometimes uh, these scars, I would say, it keeps in your mind, okay? And it's something that when there is another opportunity, well, um, uh, how do you say, the in Spanish is culpa, uh,
Guilt.
guilt. Yeah, guilt comes to you because it's like reminding you, hey, you have something that you did that it was not correct. So, and God is trying to protect us.
Right.
Okay, and also this is just a commentary that I heard that was for me very um, interesting. Okay, because I never thought about it, and it's about why God didn't kill Cain,
Right.
because in the Torah is obviously you kill, you are punished with your life. Okay, so uh, but the point is, and it was very interesting because it's true. Probably it's not the reason, but anyway, uh, and it's about that nobody have died at the moment. Adam and Eve were alive, and Cain and as well as Abel were alive. So people doesn't all the humankind didn't know that they can die. Yes, they heard from God, hey, you will die because you mess. But 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 at that time nobody knew that they could die. So the
Right.
first person who died was Abel.
Right.
Okay. So probably, yes, I'm gonna punish him. I'm gonna kick him. I'm gonna make my brother make to hit him, but he didn't know exactly the consequences of his act.
Right.
Okay, so God was uh, not going by direct to the probably he didn't want to kill uh, Abel. Okay, he just wanted to hurt him, but for his emotion, obviously he just passed. Okay, so it was very interesting for me because those questions comes to you. Okay, so I want to
Interesting.
share it.
That's very interesting. It's true. I never thought of that. But and also look. It wasn't only him who suffered. The whole earth, the ground was cursed. It's like when we suffer, the earth suffers for the things that we do. But that's true. They never had that experience of death yet. They didn't. He didn't know. It's like a child who says, I'm going to kill my brother," but he doesn't understand what that means. Yeah, that's very interesting. What else did I write down here? Yeah, I love the fact that he said he gives us that choice. Like when he said to Adam, "Where are you?" 3 times. And he said to Cain, "Where is your brother?" He wants us to think about what we do. And it's funny because just today I had to look at that. I went out for dinner with yesterday with Miriam and my daughter, and I had said something to her in a joke. In in my day, sarcasm was a very strong way of joking. We make a lot of fun of ourselves. Today, kids don't know how to make fun of each other. Everything is taken personally. But my daughter was very upset over something that I had said, and it was so, like it didn't me. I didn't even think of it, but then I thought I have to start being careful what I say to people. Not everybody is able to find things funny that I find funny, but it's very difficult. You don't always know. I'm glad she came to me and we were able to speak about it, but instead of blaming the other person, or why did you get upset over something I said, I need also to look inside and say, okay, God help me to know how not to say certain things that might affect something, because I care about this person and I want to, knowing that their personality is in a certain way, that would affect them. So there are so many things that, God is always saying to us, where are you? What are you doing? Is what you're doing affecting others? It's a constant struggle in our lives because we're so far from perfect.
Yeah, and regarding the fact that when the land is cursed because of the shed blood, that is really true.
Yeah.
Honestly, I, you know, when there is a war in any country, okay, we can see that the earth doesn't produce enough uh, food for the people, okay.
Wow. Right.
uh, uh, for example, right now, production of Ukraine is so low, okay. Why? Because there is a war,
Right.
and there is a shred blood at that country.
Right.
In my country, it was the same when we were at war. So it's like God is stating that this is not right to 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 to, to kill people, because the same land is expulsing people from the land. Okay, so and it's so interesting that. Well, I just have a question. It's an open question. Okay, what do you think about the tree of life? It was really a tree, a physical tree, or it was just a metaphor? Okay, because what I believe is Mauricio Quintero that believes that, okay, it's not at the Torah. But I think at that moment, prior to the fall of the man, we live in a world that there was an echad, a union, complete union between the spiritual world and physical world. There was no um, two um, two sides, okay, of realities. Okay, one spiritual world, as well as we are as human. We have a spiritual part and we have an animal part. Okay, so at that moment, prior the fall, for me, people was just one with God, so they can communicate, they can hear God, they can see everything in the spiritual world, and as well, they were not really naked. Okay, obviously, probably they didn't have any clothing, but they were covered. Okay, with light, because God
Right.
is light. Okay, so um, so for me at that moment, yes, they could get the fruit and they could eat, but always is like thinking about that. If when there is a separation of this physical and material world, then the tree of life becomes from the other side, I will say. Okay,
From
I
the
don't
what
know.
side?
From the other side, I mean the spiritual side.
Right.
Okay, and now we just have an idea about what is a tree of life. Obviously, that is a tree of life, right? Because uh, he produce any fruit, and when you eat, then you bring life. But there is a question in my mind about it. I don't know what are the commentaries of everyone here.
What do you think, Miriam?
Yeah, I'm just thinking. Okay, I didn't understand all of it, but I'm okay. One second. But the idea, are you saying that the tree of life isn't really a tree, literally? Is that what that the tree of life more has to do with the spiritual versus the physical, right? Is that
Yeah, for me, that if the tree of life for you was a tree that existed, okay, or it was just a metaphor,
yeah, a
or the
metaphor?
spiritual.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree with you. I mean, whether or not, it's nice. I always love the book of Genesis, and because I draw and stuff, I love the visual aspect of the tree of life and the beautiful garden with fruit and all that. So I think there's both, but I think really the meaning God is showing us from about the tree of life, I believe it's a metaphor for um, um, following God in obedience. And when they didn't listen and they ate of the tree that they're not supposed to eat of, it was metaphysical. It wasn't literally, I don't believe, necessarily a tree. I think, we were in a garden where, we were with God, like the spiritual and the physical were so deeply intertwined, and that became broken. We can't even fathom now, even even with a close relationship with God, we can't fathom what it is to be just walking in the delight with God 24/7. So that's been broken because of our disobedience. And I think we're really going to see that when we die, or that's going to be restored. The earth is going to be restored. But I agree that I feel also it's more importantly as to be seen as a metaphor.
And what do you think about the serpent?
Okay, I watched, Peggy, the 2 videos you sent about the thing about crushing the head of the serpent, and I forget the whole 3:15 in Bereshit, and one of the rabbis, he didn't really address that, but the other one did, and I liked one thing he said about the seed. The seed doesn't mean one individual. That I agree. But then I feel when he went on to talk about the snake in a literal way, as if, now we don't like snakes and snakes are a horror, that became to me, I didn't buy that at all, because God's not pitting a concept of involving a human being against a reptile. I mean, we don't like insects, we don't like spiders. So I didn't like what he said about the snake. He said that verse doesn't have to do with, the interpretation of some religions that Jesus is God, and that, it had to do, to me, it has to do more with let's say, if I understand right, the lineage of of Abel. That lineage represents an obedient lineage, those who walk with God. Maybe you can look at it that way. Those are not as a literal snake like that. I almost, I couldn't believe he said that.
Well,
Like the literal snake.
but if we go through the Torah, I mean, it's hard to know which stories are true or literal and which are allegories because there's so many. I mean, we see the snake. How did this sly being, because the word is sly, here there was supposed to be, they were in the garden, but here, and the snake plays a part throughout the history of the Torah. You see a snake Moses has a staff that turns into a snake. The snake bit the people. The snake was put up on a pole, and those who looked up. I mean, to me, these are pictures that these stories are giving us. To me,
No,
whether
but you're being consistent. I agree with you.
exactly, and so whether they're actually happened or not, to me, is not as important as the lessons that they give us. Even when the snake asked Eve a question and said, "Did God really say not to eat the fruit of any tree?" He didn't say of any tree. He said of the one tree, the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. So already he's twisting the words. It's constantly, I think that's one of the reasons God says, don't take my name in vain. Don't twist my words. Take what I say at face value, and don't change what I say. These are all pictures of the constancy of what we as human beings constantly are doing. We're taking and twisting and changing and adding to what God is saying, and it's been done throughout history.
But I find that you're sort of answering your own question. You're saying it's so hard to separate, but you just kind of, to me, answered it. Like
I wasn't
we,
asked what question.
no, when you said something about what is metaphor, what isn't, like the problem I had with what that rabbi said was that he was like mixing things up. Like he, on the one hand, the snake was real, and he's talking about snakes now. That seems so almost trivial. I don't believe it has to do with snakes now. And then he was talking about like spiritual things having to do with us human beings. And how did that have to do with the snake in the garden? It's not about a real snake. Like now we're afraid of snakes. We're afraid of spiders, insects. I think it's obviously a bigger concept than we crushed this. No, but he made it. The first half of what he said was good.
Just
and
because
the second half was
I know, just because a rabbi says something doesn't mean it's
no,
the
I'm not.
truth.
I'm just saying. I'm just responding to that.
Yeah.
To me, we can't fully understand like the mysteries, but I really think there's a lot to be learned from those things. To me, I see those who choose to walk with God, even with all our we stumble, etc., are walking with the line of, let's say, Abel and Seth. I think Enoch and all of these, and those who walk with the snake, so to speak, are those who are disobedient. But a real snake. I mean, I'm afraid of spiders. It's not. I don't think it's about a literal snake. Next time I sometimes see people, not very often, I saw somebody carrying a snake on the street. I'm gonna go up to them and say, that snake is causing you to sin.
Well,
Yeah, I've heard a discussion from a rabbi that tells that this portion with Eve, the snake, and Adam is about is an interpretation for him about this allegory about ourselves. Okay, we have some logical part. Okay, that is Adam. Adam is very logic. Eve is very feelings, passion. As well, snake is the one who is not really like Christianity says. Oh, the snake is Satan. Okay,
right.
no, it is ourselves also. The snake is our dark side. Okay, if we want to call it in some way, are evil. Okay, because obviously we have, okay, God has said, for example, in this portion I read it. Okay, he give us everything that is green to eat. Okay, for example, and then we say, oh no, but I want a lot of meat, only meat, no vegetables. Okay, And for kids, it's really hard, because they say, "Oh, vegetables are wakala," and they only want, flour and things like bread. Okay, so that is not what God said. God said you have to eat green things, and it's good for your sake. Okay, so but then uh, people start to deal, obviously, with himself. Okay, to eat this is good, but I need to eat this. Okay, this chocolate, I which is not green. Okay, is very dark. And then I need to eat sugar, which is white, and things like that. And then uh, you know what is good, but then inside of you is still to you know to talk to yourself. Oh, but yeah, it is great to eat this, but and you start to put excuses. Okay, and then you start to twist what God said, and then it's like giving you a permission to do something because at your eyes it is good, but what you did is to twist the 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 uh, the order from God. Okay,
Right.
so uh, so that is the snake really. Okay, and it's very sad that people start to think, okay, Satan is the snake. No, every day when I pray in the morning, when we go to the school, I pray with my kids. Okay, at the car, and something every day I pray to God is, God, uh, keep us, uh, give us protection, but protect above everything about ourselves,
Right.
because you know we are so deceitful.
Right.
And we make mistakes, and sometimes we are trying to before we made a mistake. I don't know if I'm the only one who did this, but I start to think, oh, but what if I did this and or do that, and it's trying to justify what I want to do, even though I know it's not right. So it's just something that I want just to think. Okay, and us honestly, it's interesting that the only two animals that God allowed them to talk in the Torah is the snake and the donkey. Okay. Uh, so sometimes we are the donkeys or we are snakes to talk.
That's true. That's funny. Yeah, that's very funny. Yeah. Really, the portions are so rich. They're so filled with teachings for us. And, the bottom line in all of us is for us to just keep choosing life, just saying yes to God, building the things within us that help us to confront the things that we do wrong, acknowledge them, and then make them right. God is a God of order. It began with tohu vavohu, with with a void, with nothing was
I'm
formed.
Boyd. I'm Boyd.
Void, exactly. And then God brought order to everything. And I love that he created the herbs and the trees and the green before the sun and the moon, before the light, because he is the light. He's the one who brings everything for us. And you're right about us being deceitful. Rabbi would say that all the time. The heart is deceitful above all things. Who can know it? And then God says, I know it. I search the hearts. and it's marvelous when we know that. It because when we start to feel too proud about something that we do, he brings us to our knees, and we have to remember again who's in charge and who we have to give the glory to, which is wonderful. I think that's why God gives us children, to remind us about who we are. Anyway, well, I think if there's anything else that anybody else wants to add or question or ask, then we'll say another Shabbat Shalom. I can't believe that it's another Shabbat. Miriam and I were saying yesterday, it feels like we just celebrated last Shabbat. And here we are, another one. Before we know it, we'll all be in the restored Jerusalem in our new bodies, then we won't have to deal with any of this anymore.
I just wanted to add one thing, which is not, it's just because of me,
Yes.
for the record, that I do believe that when God said you can eat all green things, I think the world was different then, and I don't think we ate meat, only because in the same passages God talks about the soul, and that the living soul, animals having a living soul. So when I think of animals now, I think of the dog in your family, Peggy, Leia, the dog. I think of, look, I love animals, and to me, something about killing animals came partly mixed up with the whole creation groaning to return to the way God created life in the beginning. So just for the record, I don't believe that we ate animals in the Garden of Eden.
It doesn't say we ate animals, and I don't
No,
think
but I
we'll
thought that was
I think in the end times we won't eat animals either.
No, I don't
The
think so.
restored, because it says the lion will lie down with the lamb, and I don't think we'll be killing animals. But right now, I'm going to go have a
I'll have
steak.
no. Yeah, well, I feel like chopped liver, but I'll see.
Well, as long as the animal is killed humanely, we want to do everything with compassion
Yeah.
and always put God first in all things. So I want to thank everyone again for celebrating Shabbat as a community.
The eaters ate grass before they ate the meat.
Exactly.
Cats and dogs ate grass.
Thank you so much, Peggy.
You're welcome. Thank you. And again, Yannette, if you need help taking
We start the kisses start long time for taking out
okay.
the sukkah. We are okay.
Okay.
But thank you so much for your time for. Well, we can try the Andres and me. We talking about to visit to oh my God.
Is it Dorothy?
Dorothy.
Oh, that would be so wonderful.
Week, yes, and this week we have more time.
Good.
We work tomorrow, but this week we can go to Dorothy.
If you take the metro, it's much easier.
Yes.
Très facile. You just go. I'll tell you how to get there. It's very easy. She'll be so happy to see you.
Yes, and Andres too.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't forgot the when I came to the congregation, the job, Dorothy job, he made an excellent job with the kids.
Yes.
And the food and the preparation for everything.
Yes.
Wow. Yes.
You know what she loves, Yannette, more than anything? She loves to sing, so you can sing with her.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Elle adore chanter.
Yeah.
Hebrew songs. What were the songs she liked?
Yeah, you can't. Don't bring her anything to eat because she still can only eat fluids. Only yeah. But she talks about the kids. She still talks about cooking all the time.
We can bring something for example, like flowers. No.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
I want to say, and don't forget, but I want to say thank you so much for your prayer, your love with my brother Jose Lorenzo. Yesterday the first time I speak with him, he can speak very well because he have the oxygen,
Right.
and he can speak very well, but he's so happy. He says, Janae is still alive, estoy vivo.
Wow.
Wow, is a miracle,
Yeah.
because it's like impossible, because he's so complicated. He's the COVID and pneumonia, everything. But now he came in his house, and somebody came with take about him. Is a nurse.
Yes.
He came in the morning, another guy in the night.
Wow.
So thank you so much.
Yeah.
God he's amazing.
It's wonderful. And it's amazing. It's amazing how we take things for granted. We don't
Yeah.
appreciate something until it's
Mhm.
taken away. And then when we can come back to it, wow, it's amazing. I know. Yeah.
Yes.
OWL is a foul, not a fool.
Yeah, it's a foul. It's as you were reading, Mauricio, I was looking at all the words that have EA in it, like
EA.
creator, bear.
Later.
There were so many different ways of pronouncing the word with EA in it, that it must make you crazy, because in Spanish,
Wow.
everything is it's always pronounced the same way. But English, you could have
Yeah.
two letters put together and
Oh,
That's
yeah,
it.
right.
it's different.
English is very strange.
English, very complicated language. So
¿Tú entiendes, César, ahí? Un poquito.
Poquitito.
poquititito.
Lo que está diciendo Janet es que José Lorenzo, ayer pudieron hablar con José Lorenzo y aunque le costaba un poquito por tener un oxígeno puesto, pero que gracias a Dios José Lorenzo está súper bien, es decir, se ha recuperado de COVID, de un problema pulmonar muy serio, y estamos todos alegres, disfrutando la vida, ¿no?
And Mildred is she's still here with us. Mildred is doing so much better now. Her cast is
Sure.
off. She's slowly starting to use her hand. And she was, before, when we said somebody would come from the CLSC to help her take a shower. No, 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 no. Now somebody came this week, and she was so happy that she had her hair washed. And one thing that we'll say no to yesterday, we say yes to today because of circumstances in our lives. You never know.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Hashem por la salud de refuerzo más de José Lorenzo.
sí.
Fue una alegría grande.
Sí.
Yeah.
Thank you. Gracias, Saraí.
There's
Un
milk.
gran-
Estamos en espera de tu tío Hugo también
Sí.
que nos diga.
Sí, cuando tenga noticias les voy a también a comunicar
Okay.
pronto.
Does milk have things in the bathroom so she could do it herself?
Yes.
You had those bars and things.
She
in
has a
there?
bar in the bathroom. Yes. So, Mauricio, you're starting your Spanish class this week?
Bueno,
Esta semana?
esta
Yes.
semana,
Esta semana. No han cambiado
Oh.
horario, ¿verdad? You
Eh,
haven't changed
no.
the-
it's the same. Sí,
the
es
same.
como, ¿qué hora tienes tú allá?
Son las 12:20.
Aquí son las 2:20.
Okay.
Oh, you're the same time as us now.
No, not the same time.
It's 12:10 here.
Oh, you're 2 hours. Well, soon, I think in November, we're going to turn our clocks back.
Okay. Oh, yes.
You know
So then-
when, Brian? Show
So,
me.
Brian, when is the daylight savings? Do we know?
It's coming up in November.
Yeah, I know in November. Daylight saving time ends on November the 6th.
Oh, see, it's in the first week.
Yeah, the first week we turn our clocks back. So they'll be 1 hour earlier. But in Mexico, do they turn their clocks back?
They're on the same line. from the north to the south.
You don't change in El Salvador, right, Mauricio? Do
Aquí
you?
es la 1:25.
Mexico, yes, they change.
They do
It's
change.
yeah, they are 1 hour less than you. I'm 2 less hours than you.
You're due. Okay, so in November it's going to change. Okay, very good. So if we have nothing else to add for today, again, have a wonderful week, everybody. It's still Shabbat. It's a beautiful day. Enjoy the rest of your Shabbat, and I wish you at the end of Shabbat a Shavua Tov. May God bless and keep you. May He shine His face upon you and not turn His face away from us. Which means we are being good boys and girls. So have a wonderful day. Mwah. God bless you all.
God bless you all.
Gracias, gracias.
Bye.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shalom,
shalom.
shalom.
Baruch.
Bye.
Bye,
Shabbat
Peggy.
shalom.
Bye,
Bye.
Ati. Bye,
Bye.
Miriam.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Sarai.
Shalom.
Ay, Janet.
Bye,
Bye, te
Mildred.
quiero. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.